So, again, named Jeff Schoeller, born and raised in Perkasie. Well, my mother, who is here, would probably say, no. I was born in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia, and she brought me here when I was 2 weeks old. So, let's just raise that. So, my first job was working for Charlie's mother, Marion Baum, delivering newspapers, and actually right here, 6th Street, Arch Street, Ray Street, and that was my group. And I've been working for the family business since 1968 as third generation, along with my brother. And by the way, I was thinking about this. Between Tim and I, we have 99 years. So if you're an algebra expert, that would be A plus B equals 99. You have to think about that. And then, of course, my two sons, Jordan and Colby, who are both members of the fire company, and at this moment, Jordan is Deputy Fire Chief here for Perkasie Fire Company. So, I graduated Penn Ridge High School and Upper Bucks Tech School in '73, joined Perkasie Fire Company in 1976, and I held positions of Chief Engineer, Assistant Chief, Driver, and now Life Member. And then I also joined Quakertown West End Fire Company No.2 in 2007, and driver and trustee and past department president and presently life member and trustee there. So I want to take a few minutes to describe a true story that happened April 1st, 1926. I was first told about this incident soon after I joined Perkasie Fire Company by a senior member, but I did not have the complete story as nobody ever spoke about this. Recently I did research on the topic, and the following is what I learned. First of all, to set the stage, Calvin Coolidge was president. A loaf of bread was 12 cents. Gasoline was 20 cents a gallon. It was April Fool's Day, Thursday, April 1st, 1926, the evening before Good Friday, 3 days before Easter of that year. Please, what I'm going to speak about is anything but a joke. Sorry. This incident happened 97 years and 3 days ago. And I apologize for breaking up, but I've done so much research on these guys, I thought I know them. While the Perkasie Rotary Club was celebrating its April Fool's meeting on the second floor of the Perkasie Firehouse, the whistle sounded, the steam whistle. The message was, send your engine and men to the Quakertown Bush House immediately. 6 or 7 other companies were included: Quakertown, Sellersville, Silverdale, Coopersburg, Trimbursville. The vehicles that responded, the end there is a 1919 Seagrave. The next one is a 1920 Seagrave. Now this happened in 1926. And the Chief's car. Later on, after they bought the order car, which we still own, the Seagrave you can still see there, and there's a new Chief's car, which we'll talk about later. The Seagrave, which, I beg your pardon, was the cat's ass of fire companies, fire trucks. Perkasie has always had the best equipment. This truck had 16 men on it going to Quakertown. Now that wasn't our truck, by the way. I photocopied it. Mosquito Fire Company in California. But I would like you to realize that it has wooden wheels, solid tires. It's a chain drive to the rear axle. It's a right-hand driver. There's no windshield and there's no rear view mirrors. The men assembled at the firehouse, dropping what they were doing as we still do it today. They started a 5.9-mile journey to help our neighbors. Doing the math at 20 miles per hour, that would take about 17 minutes. Leading was Chief Texter's car, being driven by Albert Harr. And let's see here, I'm going to back up. You'll see there's two gentlemen in the chief's car. And if the picture to be true, that could be the two people that drove the day of the incident. I'm a picture ahead of myself. Close behind was Perkasie's newest engine, the 1919 triple pumper, 750-gallon-minute Seagrave. There were 16 men on board. Now, I just wanted to show you, most of you probably know where this picture is in Quakertown, but there's how we rode fire equipment into 1926. So, although none of those trucks have 16 men on it, I can understand it. From when I first joined in '76 here in Perkasie, we would put 8 to 10 people on the tailboard and we would get dressed while we were going down the road. Those days are gone. I found this picture while I was doing it, and that shows the aggressiveness and the determination of a volunteer fireman. I just could speak volumes about the anticipation there of going to help somebody. The route of travel was Market Street. Across the tracks we went. And then some of these pictures Rick gave me, I just can't get over that. Now there is a road under construction sign there, but you can see the trolley tracks. This is Ridge Road and Park Avenue at this point yet. But we're not sure the date of this, but it couldn't have been a whole lot better than that because we were out in the country right there. We continued up past the Rock Hill Sunday School, and if you don't recognize that picture, you probably recognize that one, and most definitely recognize that one. On April 1st, 1926, at 7 p.m., the temperature was around 41 degrees Fahrenheit. The internet's fabulous for this stuff. The sun set at 6:24 p.m. on that day. Neither the chief's car nor the fire trucks had windshields. Station Road was macadam, but certainly not full width as it is today. Both the chief's car and fire trucks were equipped with a siren and a bell. It was reported by Samuel Musselman, the bell ringer. By the way, I knew Mr. Musselman as a youth. That the bell would be rung at 3-second intervals and more vigorously at 1-second intervals when approaching traffic. And later on, I have a bell here from one of the chief's cars over the years, and it's amazing how clear the bell sounds, and I urge you to ring it. Nearing the vicinity of the Q-Mart, the brigade came across some traffic going in the same direction. It was reported there were 3 or 4 cars and a small truck ahead of them. The cars were all passed without incident, but the small truck would not heed way. The chief's car was at last able to pass the small truck, and while doing so, motioned to the driver to move to the right. Closely behind was the Seagrave pumper. And by the way, I should have mentioned earlier, the Seagrave is a brand, like Mack or Chevrolet. Seagrave is a pumper, and they're still active today. Or a fire apparatus. Also trying to pass the small truck who would not move over. Whoops. It was reported that the fire truck was moving no more than 23 miles per hour, and the siren bell were being sounded. Irvin Horn, a fireman on the truck, was training the spotlight, using the small truck to gain attention to the small truck driver, but still he would not move over. As they were approaching the left curve in the road, and now that I've told you about the curve in the road going past the Q mark, you will probably remember this. But that curve, there it is larger than you think it is. It's a longer curve, an easy curve, but I never realized it until I started studying this. As they were approaching the left curve in the road, just past the Q mark, the driver of the Seagrave, Herbert Kramer, felt he had enough room to pass the small truck, even though the small truck was just to the right of center of the road. Remember, this was a right-hand drive fire truck. In doing so, the Seagrave's left front tire left the roadway. The truck swerved and sideswiped the telephone pole, killing 2 of the 4 men on the left side of the truck. Jacob C. Krauthamel, 39, and Will Sames, 25, both suffered head and internal injuries. Mr. Krauthamel died instantly, and Mr. Sames died later at the Gaiman Hospital 2 hours later. Now, that is in Quakertown at 3rd and Juniper Street. And I even called the Quakertown U, the Historical Society, and it took them a day or so to get back to me. They didn't even know where the Gaiman Hospital was. Again, this was 1926. The fire company did not have radios or other modern communications available to them. Near as I can tell, the vehicles didn't even have rear view or side view mirrors. Chief Texter continued into the fire scene and reported to the Quakertown chief, who said, "What, have you come alone?" Chief Texter, in amazement, looked behind him and realized the Seagrave was not there. Retracking his route of travel, we soon came across the fate of the unfortunate accident, just as the second Perkasie engine was approaching the accident scene. There are many other details from many newspapers that I found on the internet that I would gladly answer your questions another time. The absurdity of this: Quakertown Fire Department had just purchased a fireman's safety net. Bucks County Fire Marshal William Stackhouse wanted to perform a demonstration. We would now call this a drill or a practice, to see how long it would take for mutual aid fire companies to assemble in Quakertown, should there be a need, and also to test the new safety net. So the whole incident was a drill and not a fire in the first place. I reviewed the fire call book at Station 26 at Perkasie. They had 19 fire calls this year, and this was not listed among them. As I was told this story from a veteran fireman, Sanford Bozzard, some of you may remember Sanford, in the late 80s, he said that Pennsylvania enacted 2 laws from this incident. 1, no one was allowed to ride on the side of a fire truck. And 2, a demonstration or a drill must be stated at the time of dispatch. This was truly a very sad day for Perkasie Fire Company. It was stated in the Central News that it was Perkasie Fire Company's darkest hour. That picture there of Mr. Krauthamel on the right is a picture of the picture that's over there that hangs in the firehouse. We have no picture of Mr. Sames, and I'll talk about it later, but the plaque in the center was attached to a chief car that Mrs. Krauthamel donated in 1929 to Perkasie Fire Company. So there was 2 plaques. One is affixed to the wall downstairs, and I could not get it off the wall because behind that plaque there's a bolt so nobody could steal it. And there's another one on our memorial board upstairs outside the hall. So they were on there. And then, maybe some of you know this, that's the courthouse on the left picture in the background in Doylestown. This memorial is there for not just Willis and Jacob, but for any volunteer, fireman, police, ambulance, well, here I'll read it. This memorial is erected in the honor of those who, while serving the people of the county of Bucks, lost their lives during the performance of their duty.